Best of r/Tales from Retail episode 70. Subscribe for edit videos daily. I work at a grocery store as the self-checkout attendant. So, the story begins last night when we had a group of 3 people who appeared to be a little bit sketchy. Overall they were nice, but they spent a very long time at the self-checkout buying a few snacks. I wasn't watching them closely enough to know what was taking them so long, but I helped them once or twice with routine issues. Aside from being a little odd though, they weren't doing anything particularly suspicious. Tonight, one of the members of the group, an older woman, was using the self-checkout for a very large grocery order. I should mention at this point we also have a hardware store within our grocery store, which I know it sounds odd, but people love it and they do a great business. So, she's ringing her stuff and we're keeping an eye on her, but again, other than being strange, she wasn't doing anything to arouse suspicion. That was, until, the register froze and she called me over for help. I look at her screen and her bill total is over $700. I look at what's on her screen and in addition to a lot of groceries, she has quite a few expensive hardware store items. I told her that I could move the transaction over to my register, but that I have to ask for it for any purchase over $500. This is not store policy. It's just something I made up on the fly because I was pretty sure she was using a stolen card. We do have a threshold for IDs on big gift card purchases, but that's all. She immediately launches into a sob story about how it's her wife's card who recently passed away and that she doesn't have the ID for it and she got more than she planned to etc etc. Luckily a manager was right there who was aware of the situation, and I left the manager with her for a moment because I had to run and help another customer. I'm not sure how the conversation went between the two of them, but she asked if she could take some stuff off to make it below $500. At this point there was no way we were taking the card without an ID, and eventually she just left and complained that we should have signs up stating the policy, the one that I just made up. We ended up having to put everything back, but it was better than letting her walk away with hundreds of dollars of what was probably going to be bought with ill-gotten funds. The manager was a little rattled. He's new and quite young, but I think we did the right thing. I mean if you ain't got nothing to hide, you ain't got nothing to hide, right? Looking back, I think the night before when they were buying snacks, they were testing the system out to see how it worked and if they were able to use it. I really try not to profile people just because they seem odd, but sometimes you just have to say number. Hopefully she won't be back anytime soon. Thank you. Next. This happened last week and yes, this lady has officially traumatized everyone in the store now. She's a semi-regular and everyone tries to scramble away when she rolls on in on her scooter. Me, SM equals store manager, M equals other manager, A equals other associate, SL equals scooter crazy nightmare from hell lady. Me, hi, how are you today? Anything you're looking for in particular? SL, yes, I want to look at some dresses. I need one that's specifications. Is this all you have? I don't like that. How much is that? Me, they're on clearance so it's $XX. XX and then 40% off that. SL, how much that? Me, tells her. SL, that's not a deal, I'm looking for a deal. Then rolls on over to another area. These sweaters, are they on sale? Me, looks at the sign right on the sweaters. Yes, they're 40% off. SL, okay, I'm looking for a deal. That's not a deal. You know what I mean? Me, yes ma'am, I do. This continued for another 15 minutes so she hated everything she told me to hold up for her. Ask for the price, misread every BOGO 50% sign as just 50% off, and keep saying, that ain't no deal. We find a few things she manages to like and thinks is a deal. Then we get her needing tights. SL, I need tights. I want black. Me, okay, we have sizes, colors, styles. SL, I want black sheer. I bring her the size she would be according to the weight chart. She insists she wants the next size, because she wants them loose. When I bring her that size, she yells at me saying she's not that big. She doesn't want this certain style. She's okay with the super opaque which is much darker than she told me she wanted. Now she wants another color. This adds another 12 minutes of going around in circles as I'm getting frustrated with her constantly telling me she doesn't want what she just told me she wanted. When I get back to the register where she's plopped, I heard her talking with my manager, but not the conversation. SL. Okay, I need a new bra. I think I'm blah blah size, and need to be measured. Me. Okay, I can do that for you. SL. Really? You can do that? She's skeptical because she's in her late 60s and I'm in my late 20s. Apparently I'm like 5 years old in her mind. Needless to say, another 10 minutes of arguing about how she's always been this certain size and I must be wrong. I go back to fetch something else for her and when I come back, she says she wants me to total her stuff and she was told she'd get 30% off her whole purchase. I asked her if that was a coupon, customer courtesy, or what. She starts to turn a little nasty because I was questioning her. She keeps saying, they said 30% off my purchase. Me, Mom, I wasn't here for that conversation. Was it a coupon, or customer courtesy? It was a coupon for 30% off one regular priced item. SL. No, she, meaning SM, said it was 30% off my whole purchase. SM. No, I said it was a coupon for 30% off one regular priced item. SL. Okay, I know what I heard, but whatever, I'll take that. We go through 10 minutes of totaling her stuff, taking almost everything off, re-adding, checking discounts, KMN. She again tries to ask where her 30% off her purchase was. I tell her, yet again that's not what they said. She proceeds to scream at me she's done with me and if I don't know how to do something, I just need to get my manager. Me, I know how to add a discount they told you 5 times it would be. It was not 30% off your purchase, but I'll gladly get you my manager. I walked away and went up to both managers trying to finish moving all this stuff. Me, I'm done. She asked for a manager. One of you can deal with her. I'm just done. Emma's finishing up. I go to A and ask a few questions about the paperwork and other stuff I was working on earlier. SL takes a while trash talking me, trying to pull her same crap on the store manager. Yeah, I hear her finishing up and go duck down behind a display. I think, out of sight, out of mind, she'll just roll on out and leave me alone finally. Boy, was I wrong. She gets to the door and I hear her say, where that little girl was helping me earlier. SM, you means Marketladix? SL, yeah, they start calling for me. I hear SM say I must be in the bathroom or something. A comes around the corner, spots me and like a genius points at me screaming, there she is. No, she's never been socially aware and able to read a situation. I give her the dirtiest look and then walk up to SL and SM. SL, I'm sorry you were irritated. Me, no mom, I'm sorry. Then just looked at her and waited for the next BS out of her mouth. SL, it's just that you walked away from me after whatever. Me, you told me you didn't want me anymore, and to get my manager, which I did. I was just giving you what you wanted. You know what? Have a nice day. As I started walking off she did that little motion with her hands where she grabbed at the air telling me, bye. The second she wheeled her ass out, M comes up to SM and reams her out for 10 minutes for not interfering, for her treating me like garbage, not kicking her out because she's so obnoxious, and allowing employee abuse. She shouldn't have let it go anywhere near that long, being condescending, etc. SM is pouting about ready to cry, says that we need the sales, and this gets M in another uproar. M, not at the cost of a good employee. It ended with me telling SM I will never help SL again. I will walk away, and not subject myself to any more. The whole store finds out about the interaction, and shares their stories of her with me. She always magically can't listen, read a sign, always argues, turns you into her personal shopper, is incredibly rude, and just wastes your time over a small sale. Thank you. Next. Obligatory first time ever posting notice. Also made this account fairly recently so I could post anonymously. Onto the story. Also on mobile. Sorry for formatting. This happened back in October but I'm just now remembering it and thought it's funny so I should post it. So I work at a beauty store and am constantly on the floor attending to guests and helping them pick out makeup and giving recommendations. I use a wand to curl my hair and I think I'm an expert, so I don't wear the glove because it's annoying. For those that don't know what a curling wand is, it's basically just a barrel that you have to physically wrap your hair around and hold the end while it gets hot. Well, this resulted with me getting quite the burn on part of my hand. I honestly can't even explain how I did it. So a couple days go by, and the burn still looks pretty fresh, but it has that shiny layer over top. You all know what I'm talking about, and I'm helping a customer pick out some mascara and lipstick. Well, normally when swatching products, you test it on your hand and swipe the product on to see the pigment and shade on your skin. So I'm swatching some lipsticks for her and she says to me, "I love all of these colors, I can't decide. Which one is this one? I think that one would look really nice." She pointed to my burn thinking it was a lipstick swatch. Also, to clarify, I was swatching the lipsticks nowhere near my burn because that's gross. I was swatching on the palm of my hand instead of the top. I had to very awkwardly tell her that it was a burn and not a lipstick shade. She laughed and apologized, and I eventually found a lipstick that sort of matched the color of my burn. It was funny and awkward, but she was in good spirits about it. Edit. Clarified where I was swatching even more because I felt it wasn't clarified enough. Thank you. Next. One day, a customer comes in with 4 boxes of cereal and a receipt, asking to return the cereal. Thinking nothing of it, I scanned the receipt and then scanned the barcode at the bottom of the box. The system says, "The item cannot be located on this receipt." This is nothing out of the ordinary, as in our store. Sometimes the barcode on the item works, and sometimes we need to use the barcode on the price tag. So I go to scan it, and I notice it's on the top of the cereal box. We always place price tags on the front of the box. I knew this was suspicious, but as my manager was on break and as to not accuse the customer of foul play in front of their face, I scanned the tag anyway. It rang up as normal and I completed the return. After she left the store, I went to confirm my suspicions. I go and scan the tag that didn't originally work, and it pulled up an item, vanilla Wheaties. The item that was on the receipt was for Frosted Wheaties MBS. It turns out that MBS stood for maple brown sugar. I then removed the tag on top, only to find out that the tag covered the expiration date, and the item had expired last year. Looking closer at the box, you could see the spot where the tag that we had originally placed on the item was removed. This customer went out of their way to remove the tags off of 4 maple brown sugar Wheaties, remove the tags off of 4 other vanilla Wheaties, and then return them. The maple brown sugar Wheaties cost $3.00 and the vanilla Wheaties cost $2.80. In other words, the customer went out of our way to rip us off of 80 cents. Thank you. Next. So, I work in a popular Asian store. Going into further detail would make it super obvious, and have been in my position for under 4 months. The most I've gotten besides this call was some gripes about our no returns policy or upset over our bag costs, which I just tell the customer that the store has no control over and they need to talk to upper management. Around the time when I first started, maybe a week or 2 in, I can't really remember, the phone rings. I picked it up happily, and this was the first time I had answered the phone, so I was very nervous. I'm referring to text messages from the incident because I can't remember it well now. M is me and C is customer. I introduced myself and the company in traditional fashion, and the customer replies with, "You guys sold me 2 erasers." Now, my mind goes immediately to a razor set that we sell, which is scented as well. I am thinking that she wants a refund at this point by how she sounded. Yes, I won't quote here, but I do remember distinctly that this lady was very fond of using curse words. She started swearing up a storm about how is she going to use the erasers, because apparently when she tried to use one, it broke. Why she didn't just use it anyways as 2 erasers, I have no idea. If it erases, it's doing its job, right? By the way, the eraser plus tax is $164 USD, so she probably wasted more on the phone bill than the eraser. I meekly told her sorry, because I honestly didn't know what else to say. I've never had a job before and never had to deal with this kinda stuff. She wanted to know how she would possibly use it for school now that it's broken. Instead of telling her it erases still, so it works, I just kept apologizing and telling her we have a no returns, no exchanges policy, and because the item was broken after purchase and not before, I couldn't refund her. See, I don't want to return it. The eraser is S quality. MR. See, I want an apology. Say sorry to me. I'm terribly sorry that happened. I had already apologized a couple times before this anyways. See, goodbye. Bye bye. Have a nice day. If I got a customer like this now, I would probably ask if the eraser still worked like it should, or if it was still scented like before. I haven't gotten anything like this recently because most of our customers are nicer than customers at other retail giants, and the majority are of Asian descent, born in another country, usually India or China, and are raised to not be rude, or at least not this rude. Sorry for grammar or spelling issues. I'm tired and not used to my phone keyboard quite yet. Thank you. Next. This was a few years ago when I was working in a small store that sold supplies one may use in the office. We also sold printers, and if the title wasn't a clue, printer ink. We often ran a skeleton crew and most days the managers lingered in the back while I was working the front. A customer came in and looked around for someone before spotting me. I had a bad feeling from the get-go but couldn't quite put my finger on why. Being young and naive, I hadn't yet encountered the infamous Karen. Well, I was about to. With my well-practiced retail smile in place, I approached the customer. Me. Good afternoon. Welcome to company name. How may I help you? Karen. I need black ink for my computer. She spat at me, sounding as though she was in a hurry. This was already a line I had grown tired of hearing, and I resisted the urge to tell her that if she needs ink for her computer, rather than her printer, then she had a bigger problem than she thought and merely smiled on. Me. Of course, the ink is right this way. I led her to the ink section and she looked at the various types, giving me a look. Me. Which type of ink do you need, Mom? Karen. I told you, I need black ink. This wasn't going smoothly. I tried to ask what brand of printer she had so that we could find the right ink, which of course she couldn't tell me. In an attempt to prevent her from blowing up at me, I started collecting information from her and looked up various types of printers on a computer before we finally found it. Sighing internally, I led her back to the ink section and quickly locate the one she needed. But instead of thanking me, she gave me a sour expression and scoffed. Karen, why are you trying to sell me such an expensive cartridge? Me. I'm sorry, we don't set our ink prices. Karen rolls her eyes so hard I thought they'd roll out of her skull and grabbed a different cartridge off the shelf. The ink she grabbed was black, yes, and was a lot less expensive, but it wasn't for the right printer. Karen, I want this one. Me. I'm sorry, but I'm afraid that one won't be compatible for your printer. Karen, it's black ink. I don't want to overpay for something like this. I tried to explain to her again that it wouldn't work, but there was clearly no talking her out of it. I'm really surprised she didn't demand to speak to my manager. So, rather than make a scene, I smiled and did what she wanted. I sold her the wrong cartridge and wished her a good day. I wasn't in the next day, so I didn't get to see the fallout, but another co-worker told me about the angry Karen who stomped in on my day off complaining that her ink didn't work. Some people just don't want to listen to reason, so why should I have to listen to stupidity? Thank you. Next. Obligatory I'm on mobile warning. A couple of years ago I worked in customer service at a big home improvement store. You know the one. It's very orange. I was working the customer service and returns desk alone on a slow day, doing my stuff, handling paperwork, when a couple came up to the returns desk with no product to return. They started immediately yelling at me about the white things and all of the soil they'd bought. They'd bought upwards of 100 bags to take care of a large greenhouse. They had opened and used all 100 bags, so didn't have any to bring back to me. I had them show me the product in store. The white things were fertilizer beads. So I explained to them, oh, no worries. That's just the fertilizer beads. Instead of buying extra fertilizer, it's put right into the soil. That's why it's more expensive than basic soil/dirt. Well, this woman starts screaming at me. No, there is no such thing. I am telling you, the soil has been tampered with by terrorists. They want to destroy my crops. My crops are ruined. Cue back and forth for half an hour of this woman just absolutely losing it on me. demanding that we tear down her entire greenhouse, sift the soil, and rebuild and redo her entire garden. She's absolutely gone bonkers, insisting that terrorists are trying to take over our country, they're trying to kill her by poisoning her food and crops, and that we need to remove this product from the shelves or she's going to the media. Finally my manager shows up. I had to walk away because I couldn't control the laughing. She yelled at him for another hour before she left, insisting she'd be going to the media. Never heard from her again. Probably the terrorists poisoned her food or something/s.